Sure. My name's Tracy Rector, and I'm the Executive Director of Longhouse Media. And I began Longhouse Media 5 years ago with Annie Silverstein, my co-founder, and we decided to start this organization so we can bring digital media to Indigenous communities. Because there's a real lack of non-stereotypical images in Hollywood that's being created nowadays. Most stories that are about Native people are stereotypes. They either show us as drunks, homeless people, or the sacred shamans who can speak to animals. So we wanted to bring digital media to communities and teach youth how to tell their own stories for cultural preservation and self-expression. And about 3 years ago, we took our equipment to the Lummi Reservation, and that's where I met Sara, and she was one of our student filmmakers.
All right. Yeah, so I grew up on the Lummi Reservation. I've never moved, been there all my life, and I think it really made the person I am today, made me culturally aware, made me really into family and culture and just being together. So it's a really different way of life. Reservations are small. The people are more about family and traditions, and so I guess I kind of have a certain way I see things. And so moving into the university, which I just recently did, it's a huge difference, and it's kind of a shock, but it's really fun to see and to be able to share my life on the reservation to people who are interested in learning about that, but then also be able to learn about the city life. So it's kind of two-way street.
One of our films called Fish is about Native identity. Most Native persons, about 75%, live in big cities, and it's a story that's not often told. So Fish is a little bit about a girl's identity while living in a big city and making a new friend who happens to also be Native.
Yeah, so that really interested the kids here because they live in a city, so it's interesting to see that some people can't find a home in the city like Native Americans. So the story was about a girl who never got to live on a reservation like I did, and so she always felt lost and like she didn't have a home there. So it was interesting to see my perspectives because I always had a sense of home at reservation, and now I'm going into a city seeing the different views. So yeah.
And Fish represented her learning that she could find her own connection and that she was able to find this even in the big city.
Okay, well, the way I see it is my mom and my grandma would have a more traditional view of Native American culture, and the way I see it now is more incorporating the culture in modern ways like media. That's why we're here with digital filmmaking and using hip-hop to bring out our traditions in a different way. So it really is more a modern way now for me, instead of like my mom and stuff who more did it traditionally, just talking and being with family and keeping it more in the reservation, I guess.
And in terms of generational gap, something that we see that's common in Sara's generation and mine is that there's more of us who are mixed race. And that's a unique experience, different than our parents maybe, where they were oftentimes not allowed to marry outside of the culture or married within the culture because there was just a lot of oppression and racism. And today, we live in cities, we live on reservations, we're modern, we're traditional, and I think that's different from our parents and grandparents. We're able to express ourselves in many different ways, and our films show that.